here are the teams with the most talent in the NFL going into the 2024-2025 season. Again, I'm not saying that these are the teams that are going to win the Super Bowl. Injuries happen, chemistry, whatever, schedule, all of that. But when you just put it down on paper, who's got the best? At 5, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Having Patrick Mahomes helps us out greatly, obviously. They are a number 1 receiver away from probably being number 1 on this list. But Pacheco is developing. Rashee Rice didn't have the best offseason, that's for sure, but it is a talented football player when able to do so. But I think the real thing that puts these guys still on this list is the talent of this defense. When you have Chris Jones, again, in that top 10, when you have Trent McDuffie and some of these other guys, that this defense really helped get this team over the hump last year and kind of kept them around in the regular season. Not that there was much of a push from the Raiders or the Broncos or certainly the Chargers last year, but kept these guys as one of the like upper echelon teams while the offense was figuring some stuff out. And then by the time they got to the postseason, it was wraps for everyone. So they come in at number 5. At 4, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They obviously lost some last year on the defensive side, but I think they had a very, very good draft. They made some smart moves this offseason, and so they keep that talent up on the defensive side. I think that the offensive line loses quite a bit with no Jason Kelce, but still has a couple of the best offensive linemen in the league. And then to add Saquon Barkley to an already ridiculously talented skill position set to go along with the incredibly talented Jalen Hurts, this is still a very talented team. And if they put it together, they should be there at the end. Just ahead of them, never thought I'd see them on this list, the Detroit Lions. I was admittedly a Lions non-believer last year and kept that up all the way to the AFC Championship game where I was eventually proven right. But I think there is a slight bit of projection with Jamison Williams in here, but even if not, Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Gibbs, as the skill position players are tremendous. On the offensive line, Penei Sewell is dealing with some injury issues now, but this is probably the best O-line in the NFL. Aiden Hutchinson is a legitimate game breaker on the defensive side, and then I think a couple of smart moves in the draft and over the last couple of years in building up this defense. It's not an elite defense, I don't think by any stretch, but it is, I think, good enough to get this team on this list. At 2, it's the Miami Dolphins. They lost a lot this offseason, but they had a lot this season. And you still have Devon Achane, who is primed to take a big step this year. Tyreek Hill, who I don't like saying nice things about, but is what he is. Jalen Waddle as well. It's wild to me that Waddle is the 3rd fastest guy on this team. I think people are really underestimating Tua. The issue is the offensive line for sure, but then the defense just got hurt last year, and that really was what ended up costing them. They were a division winner last year if everyone on that defense doesn't get hurt. Now they are back for a full season. You would presume some health, and so I think the defense, again, is something that kind of puts them over the hump here. But at number 1, it's the San Francisco 49ers, and they got an insane amount of injury luck a season ago. And that certainly helps things greatly when you are building a championship team. But the offensive weapons are the best in the NFL. The offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. And defensively, they have playmakers and game wreckers across the board. Like they check every box that you would want. And so to me, the San Francisco 49ers are absolutely the most talented team in the NFL this season.